Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome back to another Mili reaction. Today we have Mirror Mirror, which is actually one I've seen around for a while, but has never really been the one I got to. But Isaac and my executive producers wanted me to get to this one, so as per the laws of the land, I must do so. That's what a guaranteed request is for, and of course, it's Mili, so I kind of know what I'm getting myself into. I know this is from Millennium Mother, but no other context was given, so I guess without further ado, let's go! Ooh, good reminder. I always forget to do that with Mili stuff. I didn't expect like a voxel music video. Interesting choice. It's so funky though. Like, even down to the wah pedals. This might be one of their like most creative drum songs from this era that I've heard so far. It's not like super ridiculously complex, but it's having a lot of fun with the kit. Been getting a lot of those recently, but those have all been more recent songs. A little bit of Milish, you gotta throw it in there. You know, I was about to be like, why is he chrome? But then I was like, wait a minute. I've been paying attention. I do love some meat. I don't know if I want that meat. That was super funky. Man, I love that. That might be the funkiest song I've heard out of them. Definitely the most, like, obviously funky. This is probably one of the harder Mili songs I've ever had to talk about, purely because, like, I can hear what the lyrics are talking about. I get that. But what I can't place is exactly a reason. You know, it feels like there is something missing, like we started in the middle of the story. I wouldn't be shocked if this was connected to something else due to that reason, but I have no way of confirming or denying that. I haven't heard all their songs, so it's possible it would be something I haven't heard yet, if that is the case. But it feels like this story doesn't quite have a beginning. It obviously doesn't really have an end. They tend to leave their songs on cliffhangers, but for this one, it just sounds like combat robot going berserk and trying to basically replicate someone. Probably their creator, potentially. There are these constant parallels in the lyrics to, like, clearly they're trying to imitate something, even down to the name Mirror Mirror and that whole situation. I wouldn't be shocked either if that was supposed to be a reference to the original Snow White story, which the mirror, the whole mirror, mirror on the wall, who's the fairest of them all, that whole thing, the mirror was kind of pointed at being in love with the evil queen. It's very possible that they decided to borrow that. So in this case, if this robot is supposed to be the mirror in that way. Maybe that's what's going on here. Maybe the person who created this robot left such an impression on them that they are now basically doing whatever they can to become them, down to killing people, taking their skin, basically trying to become a human because they see that as some sort of a way to show their love and connection with this person. I don't think that person is in the picture anymore either. Maybe a little bit, but again, the way that the lyrics were kind of framing it, and like mainly at that part where we were getting like the Tuli Tula part all done and out of the way, there were little bits of lyrics in there that made it sound like there was a disconnect between the character we're hearing singing versus where the other person might be. Like they're not present here. It's like they're trying to recall that relationship rather than being in it in the present moment. Like they remember these things happening, and that's why they're obsessed with like becoming what the creator is. I've seen this done in a few Mili songs where like the creator and the creation have like some sort of a relationship like this. So that's what's making me think that these songs could be related and like part of a larger story in that way. I just don't know if that is the case or if they're all individual stories that just borrow the same general story baseline, which is also very common for any band, really. You'll hear a lot of repetition when it comes to storylines from any group in existence. So I'm not going to just jump on the board and say that this is connected to any of those, but it very well could be. But I also find it really interesting that this song was so funky. Why? Was it just because they wanted to try out a different genre compared to usual? I know that they are definitely an experimental group and they like to play around with stuff like this, and the genre doesn't really stay consistent with them, but that also means it tends to have a reason that they make certain decisions. Because I'm like, okay, why the funk for this one? Why did we get so funky fresh here? And maybe it's because of the context of this song and having a character that's doing something that's a little bit stanky, you know, a little bit funky, something that's not normal, I suppose, something that's a little bit against the grain, a little counterculture, and obviously murder's gonna be on that board, I would figure. But also there is like a disconnect to that, like the fact that they're doing it so funky, but also something so bad. And part of me is like, maybe that's supposed to be like a little tongue-in-cheek reference to like American Psycho, maybe? I mean, because like Hip to Be Square was like his song, and that's pretty funky, like pop funk. So it's like, maybe, I don't know though. Maybe that's the point, though, to have a song that is kind of juxtaposed to the storyline and the reasoning behind their actions. It very well could be. That's something that Mili has done before and definitely would do again, but I just don't know. Maybe it was just because they wanted to make a funk song and this happened to be the one that they did it with. I really don't know. I can't get into their minds. It seems like they are just constantly jumping around, and I really don't know where the goal is. A lot of the time, I can make my assumptions, obviously, but actually being able to tell you is completely above me. And just as an additional side note, I really did like that they went the voxel visuals route, which isn't something that you see often. For those of you who watched it, you're probably like, well, that's Minecraft look. It's like that Minecraft was based off of the voxel look. If you don't know what voxels are, look them up. It's basically 3D pixels, like in physics engine pixels. It's really interesting. So there's plenty of games made as voxels and not just inspired by it, kind of like how Minecraft is. It's not technically voxel, it's just stylized that way. But I really like that they did that for this, just because it removes the humanity from it, because not a lot of voxel stuff is going to have heavy detail due to the simplicity of it. You can obviously do things like putting texture maps on them that have more detail to the faces and everything, but at its core, voxels don't have that. So removing that humanity from the face and removing that like storytelling aspect for the visuals might be an additional factor of this story and the why it feels this way and why they went this direction, to remove that element from the video entirely and make you feel a little bit more like, ooh, what the fuck? You know, just like, why can't I get a grasp on the characters in here? Because they don't necessarily exist. But I also do want to specify that while I did make the theory earlier that maybe the creator's gone, there was that shot in the dining room with that single human. That very well could be the person. I just don't know if it actually is or not, or if that's part of the greater story of like them making meat food. And like maybe that's just a victim and not the creator, but it very well could be the creator as well. And maybe that's what they're doing, is like feeding this person human meat. That would be an interesting take too, because it's just like, where would that be going? Is this creator a cannibal? On purpose or no? Like there's a lot more like question marks if you go that route, so that's why I'm kind of staying away from it. But I did realize that the character was there. It's just more like, why are you there? Who are you? And you don't get any answers. So similar to the not having details in the face, I don't have any details for who that is, why they're there, any of that. There wasn't any real connection to like the rest of the goings on in this shop, I suppose. It was just that. So they very well could just be unrelated and just a part of the overall story visually and not have a direct narrative link to the character in the butcher shop. It's very hard for me to know. Obviously, I'm throwing shit at the wall and hoping something sticks. Mili is a menace when it comes down to their storytelling. As much as I love Cassie and obviously the rest of the band, and they have a lot of fun doing what they do, their storytelling is the hardest thing to try and figure out sometimes, because they can be inspired by really niche shit, and you're just like, where the hell did they get that from? So while it is technically my job to sit here and try explaining my thoughts to you, I could not tell you if any of those are even close to real due to their complete lack of consistency. I don't have a clue. It sounds great every single time, and I love what they do musically. They have such a good time moving things around and getting experimental, but I just don't know what their point is sometimes. And this is one of those songs where I cannot convince myself of any one answer. But anyway, I think that's about all I gotta say on this one, so I'm gonna stop yapping here. Thank you all so very much for watching. If you have another Mili song you want me to get to, or any song from anyone, drop it in the comments below, and I will do my best as always to get to those. Or if, like Isaac did, you want to guarantee that I listen to something, you can always go to my Patreon or my YouTube memberships, or you can force me to listen to something. It doesn't matter what it's from, who it's by, if it's good or bad, none of that matters. That's why it's a guaranteed request. But if you don't want to do any of that, maybe just want to follow me and support me for more stuff coming in the future, you know how to do all that, and I'll see all of you in the next video. Goodbye!